to Flory Models. I'm Philip Flory. Today we've got something a little bit different from Airscale. Now, Airscale, as we know, we've seen some of their stuff before. Small company, little cottage industry, and basically they make detail sets for cockpits, as in normally, you know, decals for instruments and things like that. Now it looks like they've moved on a little bit and brought us something that actually could be a really great aid to scratch building cockpits and updating cockpits and things like that. And this is Photo-Etched Sets. Okay, so basically what we've got down here is in two scales. So we've got a 30-second one and a 48th. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the 30-second just because it's better on camera. Okay, so what we've got down in here is, we get it out without bending it. Okay. So with all photo etch, you really want to keep it as flat as possible. As soon as you start to bend it, it's a pain to get down. Okay, so we've got a little card, nothing else to it. All right, so it's basically pointing out what we've got down here, which most of you would know if you're doing it, but it's basically saying about here, we've got Mark 7 ejector handles for the overhead, think Phantoms, okay, and all the rest of it. And then we've got the Aces 2 handles, okay, think F-16s and stuff like that, okay. Then we've got the Mark 5 handles down in there, which is on the C type, which is the more square ring, I think that's between the leg job, okay, and all the rest of it, and different types of things going down there. So when you're looking down, how many times have you been in a situation where perhaps you wanted an MFD? Okay, so down here we've got all the multifunction displays down here like this, as in your standard sort of, you know, roundy ones, a little bit one with the taller ones. We've got sort of tornado guysy ones, it looks down there with them down there, the square type multifunction displays in different scales, okay, and everything else just like that. Also on here you might be able to see we've got like the upfront controllers on F-16s and various other little panels, rear view mirrors, handles, grab handles, things like that. Then we've got your instruments and just generally your bezels that are going around all the actual flight director instruments and things like that in different scales. Okay, so now you're saying to yourself, yeah, but Phil, where would I ever use that? If you were doing something like, and the classic example here would be like an A10. Nobody at the moment does an A10C cockpit. As far as I'm aware, unless somebody's brought one out recently. Okay, so what you've got is a situation where, have I got an A10? Yeah, I've got an A10A down there. The Hobby Boss one, which actually there's a video build on that as well. Okay, so that's down in there. You could upgrade that to the C because, to be honest, the lumps and bumps on the fuselage are quite easily to do, and there is upgrade bits for those. The cockpit itself, you could then put in and scratch build your own cockpit. So obviously putting in that second multifunction display. Okay, instead of just having that standard targeting one, which was obviously for the return stuff for the site for the Mavericks on there and stuff like that, this time it has full color multifunction displays each side, up front controller, stuff like that. That you could do all the way down on here as well. Also, if you were planning on, perhaps you've got a very old cockpit which has got no detail in there whatsoever, then you can scratch build your own cockpit. Okay, because many of the time I've seen them, and okay, you know, you might say, yeah, but you just go down and get yourself a color photo etch set and do it that way. Yes, of course you could, but this gives you that opportunity to do it yourself. All right, so one of these you could probably make up probably, I don't know, 20, what we got there, 2, 4, 6, 10 different cockpits, okay, and all your bits down there, and you've got your grab handles and your ejection seat handles and your other instruments, rear view mirrors, stuff like that. So it could be a handy way of keeping extras of things as well and stuff like that. As I say, looks like it comes in 48 scale and it comes in 30 seconds. Now, being a complete numpty, I did have the pricing on it which I have put down somewhere off. I know it wasn't too bad, it was around about £10 for them, he says. I'm really disappointed in myself because I did have it here somewhere, but I've lost it already, which is very clever of me. But there we go, that is the Airscale set. If I just show you the 48th one so you can get a sense of scale. Okay, so it's exactly the same, just the smaller version of this one. Okay, so there we go, you've got both types down there. Actually, if I stick them like that, okay, you can pop them in here and you can get a better idea of exactly what you're going to get just like that. Okay, so there we go, that is it. Something very, very simple, but I think actually it'd be one of those things that's really handy to have in your spares box, purely because how many times do you lose a bit as well? Because I've lost many of these little guys like it trying to do it, okay? And then sometimes, to be honest, things like when I was working on the Typhoon would have been handy to have these things just to do it. But I am thinking if you wanted to upgrade a cockpit, something to add some detail, then this is a nice way to do them, because they are beautifully done. Okay, all the details are there, all the switches, all the bits and pieces right the way on there. Just want to see what that is. Number 8A, looks like a tornado thing to me. Landscape, CMFD, MFPCD and an MPCD. Very good. Okay, so there we go. That's those just down there and everything else. But generally, any parts you can imagine that you might need for your upgrading, your various sets, changing things over, or anything else like that, this is a simple and cheap way to go. Obviously, it's available through Airscale themselves at airscale.co.uk. Okay, and probably, I can imagine, I think I saw this at Hannon's as well, and various dealers, so keep an eye out for them. But definitely a handy thing to have in your drawer.